Circumstantial.
Divine Marie.
Breathe.
I think I don't need this one here. Let me remove that. Okay. All right. Let's get this started. Yeah, let's do this.
All right. Greetings, everyone. Greetings. Welcome to Divine Circumstances. My name is Divine Marie. I am a writer, poet, business owner, healer, mother, and I create safe spaces for those to express themselves.
And my name is Circumstantial Saint.
Right.
I am he.
Greetings,
Now I'm compatible with me. If you can't hear my language, my speech isn't for you to see. I'm a certain frequency. Time is irrelevant. This is Divine Circumstances, and we want to know what makes you flow, what makes your flow divine, and what circumstances grow you to align, right?
All right. So we will have a session with me, and then we'll have a session with Circumstantial Saint, and we have, is it 2 guests?
Well, 3 today,
Okay.
maybe just 2. I haven't heard back from Eric Lee at the moment.
Okay.
So hopefully he can join us, but if not, we'll have 2 guests, which is great.
Yes, we have Trip Young. He's going to be one of our guests, and the real Meemaw is going to be another one of our guests. So I'm super excited. Yeah, so let's get into it.
All right, you've read. So let me ask you first. What poem are you doing?
So a poem that I just wrote, well, I wrote it a few weeks ago. It's called Purpose. And it's kind of, well, I guess I should read it first and then we'll go through the breakdown and everything like that. All right, so let me get started. Purpose. What is my purpose? I sit here and question myself what my point on this earth is. Internal shifts from one thing to the next, holding on, trying my best, making sure I pay attention to my breath because it gets real. Constantly evolving, don't know how to feel. Illusions got me wondering, is this even real? But the universe points me to right where I'm supposed to be, and in the moment is when I feel free. When I'm at my best, knowing which moves to take, trusting my intuition, keeping my faith, then again something shakes. Going through the motions, how much more can I take? When I'm in nature, that's when I feel most safe because it grounds me, step back to reality. Remember, this is all part of the plan. Many won't understand when you're on the road to self-mastery. It gets dark and lonely, but there's no light without darkness. So I embrace it. Honor my flaws, hug my inner child, shadow work and all is who I am. Only the awakened will understand. Poem.
Tell me I want to ask you a question first. Tell me what in totality that's about.
In totality, the poem is about, all right, let me explain how I wrote it. So I was sitting outside one day. It was actually on the full moon in at the beginning of the month.
Mm-hmm.
No, wait, was it the full moon or the new moon? The full moon, yeah. So I was sitting outside. I was just in nature. And, sometimes I feel like we're constantly evolving, constantly going through the motions, but then some earthly shit happens and it's like, what the hell is going on now? What am I supposed to be doing? So that's kind of what that poem is about, just really trying to figure out what my purpose is on the earth.
Mm. Okay.
And kind
I
of
dig
just
that.
explaining, like, you know, we constantly are evolving, going through eternal shifts, and sometimes there's illusions that we think this is what we're supposed to be doing, but it's actually an illusion. It's not real. So paying attention to those as well.
I think that's important. Knowing those signs, gauging where you are in your life, putting your feet in this, and not in the sand, but in the soil, grounding yourself and saying, where am I headed?
Exactly.
Do I understand where I'm headed? And that's okay. You don't need to always know necessarily where you're going,
Right.
but you need to know where you are in the present time.
Right.
And presence is important. And obviously the album I'm coming out with tomorrow, by the way, little plug there. It's called I Speak to Heal. So a lot of what we will talk about on the show every other week will be about healing. And I think that, me personally, I think that everyone should be assessing themselves when it comes to their growth and where they are in healing journeys.
Absolutely.
Because there's different journeys with healing, right?
Right.
And like this might have spoken to that one particular one, but were there any inspirations for this particular moment of seeing where you are? Was there any like previous healing moment that prompted you to think about this, to write this poem?
I would say yes. I feel like I've been going through a lot of changes in my life, making a big moves, as many of you may know. So kind of, I've been doing a lot of shadow work, a lot of inner child healing, because I've been noticing a lot of things that I'm getting triggered from. It really goes back to childhood. So
Yes.
from doing the shadow work and like the inner child work, I feel like that's what really prompted me to write that poem. And just having that moment to sit there with myself in nature. And I believe it was like rainy outside, it was like a little misty. So yeah, that really prompted me to write that poem.
I dig that. See, now you got me wanting to do a poem about healing.
I love writing about healing because I feel like it's a constant journey. It's literally a journey. It's not a destination.
That part, and I think that that's extremely important to remember, that like as long as we are living, there will be a perpetual healing.
Exactly.
It's not linear. So there may be moments where you're feeling great, and there's moments where you have complete clarity.
Right.
It doesn't mean that there won't be another path and journey of healing on the horizon. I feel like there always will be. There always should be, if you're to have like a full life. You know what I mean?
Right.
Damn.
Constantly.
I'll let you continue to talk and about this poem and how it relates to healing. While I find what I'm gonna write, what I'm gonna speak.
So I see a couple of people just hopped on. A couple of people, the Poetic Lioness. Hey, girl.
Hey, what's going on, fam?
And Dana Kinsey. Oh, I remember I met you at Concrete Rose.
Got you.
Yeah,
okay.
dope. So hey, everybody. I just read my poem, and it kind of was about healing and going through eternal shifts and just making sure that I'm staying grounded and continuing to thrive. Do you know what you're going to read yet?
I am stuck between a couple. This one, I guess I do this. This one kind of like is deep, and it resonates with a lot of people.
Okay.
You know it well, so maybe I'll just go ahead and I guess I'll do Why the Fuck Did I Get With You?
Oh, I like that one.
Because that one's, you know. All right. Let's see if I got the title right. Because I know I'm not very. Can you see me okay?
Yeah, I can see you.
Fuck it. All right. Why the fuck did I get with you? I can't remember. You lay around depressed and stressed and can't find your own assets and wins. So you pick at mine. Pick at my thoughts. And tell me why I can't win. Yet you can't trust and find your own kin. Lost like a lot of us. Yet you want to say who did you wrong when you never sat down and looked within. We out here supposed to be breaking generational trauma and ties, and you weighing us down with ignorance and lies, and everyone pays the price. Maybe that's why I took you on another project and timeline, because I hopped off the train of the last one just in time, and now I'm thinking you the same soul in a different body, different face of the last fine guy that caught my eye, yet you want to gaslight and abuse me worse than the person who helped fuck you up inside. So I think you're a boy, because you have no sense of time. You wasted my time. Now you actually taught me lessons I won't forget or ever set to again come by, because I nothinged you before the last time you laid upon my eyes. A demon in disguise. Satan in a Sunday dress, no lie. I'm tired of being confined. I know who I am, my worth and my time, no settle. So I bounced and left you behind. Why the fuck did I get with you? In the days I must have been confused. I couldn't sit tight. I couldn't get right. And the previous battle wounds left me deduced to rebel. There was nothing left for you to break loose. Backed myself into a bubble, and I was the one who refused to move in a room late nights, showers, no fuse. I need space. The common denominator is your face. I'm tired of being disgraced, embarrassed, and my confidence and joy being defaced. So it's time for this darkness to be perpetually replaced. There is no ever coming back here to this place. You gave the red flags from day one, and I decided to choose you because I had no more energy to move you off my plate. You got lucky with a taste. I gave you crumbs because I had to eat the only meal I had, and time it took for you to grow up and be late. You ain't grow up, you dumb as fuck. And why the fuck did I get with you when you ain't nothing but a fake? The apologies and back and forth with the fucking idiocracy is making my mind bleed of intensity of explosion of the anger. And this is way too fucking much for me to take. And again, you came way too late. I gave you time, said your goodbyes, and now you got to find another plate and make sure this time you won't be late. I know you don't hear me though. Who pissed in my Cheerios? The dog who gaslit me but was on a night creep. Your talk was very cheap and you couldn't keep your actions quiet. But yet you can't trust me? I beg to differ. You can't beat me. They tried to dethrone me. They couldn't win. You tried to mold me. You forgot I'm strong as the ground we walk on, and you swimming with one fin. Get with the foundation of mother within. Why the fuck did I get with you? My ancestors guide me, and they told me not to fuck with you. What is meant to be will be. The lessons are learned, and I'm grateful for you. The test of myself, value in myself, discernment with no help, got me to get away from you and anyone like you, and anyone that does the things that you do. My mind and body wasn't paying attention, though my spirit knew. Why? I got with you. It was for me to become brand new, leave behind the bags that are used, and be something, someone new, like a butterfly breaking from the cocoon. Now I remember why I got with you. Thank you. Poem.
Yes. I love that. So can you break down what made you write that poem?
So I think it started from like a new healing journey, right? So I went through a big move just like you did, and I also went through a breakup, and analyzing that there were a lot of similarities from this relationship to like previous relationships or situationships or situations that people go through, right? Mm-hmm. And I talk about seeing the same, like you get the same person in a different body, different face. So did you really learn the lessons that the universe threw at you? Right. Because we go through those cycles, right? If we don't learn that lesson, the universe will throw it right back at us in a different iteration till we learn it. Exactly. And so like a lot of them talked about that, and it was like this frustration and this stuff that I had inside that I need, like it was mucky and I had to purge it out, right? But this isn't geared towards a specific person. or situation. It's situations. It's assessing other people's situations and things that I've heard them say and feel, and things that I feel myself. So this isn't, and so I was really worried that when I put this out, that like certain exes will be ever come at me and be like, "Are you talking about me?"
Right.
No, I'm not talking about anybody in particular. I'm just expressing myself.
Exactly.
And my journey of healing. And so for me, this was really personal. This was a very vulnerable time, and I actually was very skeptical of putting this out to everybody. I didn't know how it would be received. I didn't know if people would take me for being in this time frame, because like this poem had started out a couple years ago, and it was always like in the back of my head, like the rest of the poem, and I never finished it.
Yeah.
So I felt like at this point in time, like I got to a point where I was able to finish it, but looking back at who I was at a certain period of time. So I was drawing back on past experiences. It's not how I'm feeling or what I'm going through right now. It's looking at through the lens of where I was in a certain particular of times and drawing from that. And I try to make that apparent in the song, in the poem, but you may not always pick up on it. Like, and if you listen to the song, it's different. It gives a different element to it that may add to explaining like where I'm coming from. But the poem, it's definitely like, I feel like it's more raw.
Right. And that's the thing that I love about poetry, like how you said, you're not talking about a specific person or in general, you're just expressing yourself. And that's what I love about poetry. Like, it just gives us the opportunity to just express ourselves. And although sometimes we might feel like nervous or vulnerable to put it out there, it's like really a good release.
To me, it's, we all have different outlets, but I feel like writing is a really great purge.
Yes.
And not to knock someone that runs, because actually running and hiking are really great for you too. And actually, and this is something I just want to touch on real quick, because when we talk about grounding, right? But not just metaphorically, we're talking about also physically grounding, putting your feet in the dirt and the physical benefits that it lends to, right? So hiking does the same thing, even though we're not walking and running necessarily around barefoot. The presence of unflat terrain and the difference in the terrain tricks our feet and our minds into a sense of like revitalization for our body. Not so much a fight or flight response, but almost. So it helps to build our immune system. It helps to build perception and understanding of our bodies in relation to the outer and the outer world. You know what I mean? So I felt like it's important to highlight that some people walk or hike, some people write. I do both. So I understand the benefits of both. But when you go through breakups or situations that really shake you up and help change your being, I personally feel like doing any kind of outlet, as long as you're purging it, to transmute your energy is probably the best.
I'm here looking at the comments. The real Muon says, "Say it to my ex." The poetic liner, snap, snap, clap, clap. You go. A contemplation of all those past situations. Yes.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think with poetry, you touched on it, there's different ways of perception and how you're writing, and that's one of the things I love about poetry is one poet may be talking about someone else's perspective and they're analyzing it and looking through a mirror, but then somebody else might be talking about themselves and their past tense or present tense.
Yes, and I really picked up on that actually that night that we were at a Concrete Rose. Like, there was so many different perspectives of the way people wrote, and I really loved that. It was beautiful.
And you know what? That's what also, for me, helps encourage me to be authentically myself and not worry about what someone else is doing, or like, oh my goodness, they're really amazing. I'm not that great. I did that at first,
Me too. Me too.
When in reality, we're all meant to be who we are, and we're supposed to bring who we are to the table of the world. So be authentically you. And Dana, thank you for that, actually, because that speaks truth to what we actually are just saying. Like, authenticity and being fully you and living in your truth is extremely important. And I think that's what you to see what the uniqueness of your poetry is, right?
Yes. Somebody, the poetic line that says, hug the trees and talk to plants. I love hiking for grounding. Yes. And walking barefoot in the grass. Oh my God, that's my favorite thing to do. That's my favorite thing to do.
Scientifically, it literally helps to stave away depression. It literally like helps with it does so many benefits, and it's been logged now. So
I just seen this post about it. Oh, I wish I saved it, but it literally showed like your foot, like a diagram of like all the benefits it does. When you walk barefoot in the grass.
When you find that, send it to me, fam.
Yes, I gotta find that post. Hey everybody, so a couple new people just joined. Hey everybody, who's on? What's up? What's up?
BJ05, thank you for joining us, fam. The Urban Conservative, yo, thank you, my brother. Real quick, while I had the time, because, you know, we got to keep it going and get into everybody else's poetry, but I need to get my plugs out real quick. My album, my 16th album, I Speak to Heal. It is on my Bandcamp site. Please go check it out. Tomorrow, it is available everywhere. However, I am a struggling, starving artist, support independent artist. I produce the whole one, and I have 14 collaborators contributing to this album, including you, Divine Marie. I've got the Conservative on there. I got
definitely go check it out.
So many people. And also amazing poets, rappers, singers, guitarists. I have so many different amazing creators. It's okay to cry, black man. I did not produce that. That is an amazing artist that's got like 20 years in the game experience, that is just an amazing musician.
That's awesome.
And I'm really happy that so many people. Yes. So when you talk, and I want to touch on this real quick, because nice segue. When we are talking about speaking, right? The album is speaking to the throat chakra. I speak. Right. So it's lending to expressing. However, your throat chakra being overactive or underactive is not good.
Exactly.
You want to have that balance.
Right.
So I wanted to make sure that I had other people speaking their truths that help paint the picture of me as well, because it's about community, it's about unity, us all being one, right? But then you also have to learn when to not speak, so that others can share their truth, and so that your truth can be understood. Right. Some things are best left unsaid. You know, it's the unspoken things sometimes that speak more. So you had these moments in the album where it's nothing but beat, or there's interludes where there's background noise that help to describe and help paint the picture of where I am, or where whoever is in the song or the poem. Shout out to Complex Angel as well, who did an amazing track on the album too. Queen Far. Like, there's so many amazing poets that really dive deep into showing who they are, and that is important. That's extremely important. So if y'all have a chance, please go support myself and the other 14 creators that they just gave their all, as far as their authentic selves in this project. And I personally think that this can resonate with everyone on some kind of level, because we're all going through some kind of growth or healing on some kind of level, right?
Absolutely.
So I just want to thank y'all for giving me that opportunity, and just letting me be vulnerable. You, Deja, as well. Like, I can't thank you enough for just being a counterpart of mine, and always having. You're definitely a muse and an inspiration, for sure, always.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate you, because I feel like we met on divine timing, literally. And we definitely help each other out in so many different ways. So yes, thank you so much.
And I know you got some plugs to talk about, so tell people about any projects that you may be doing or things that you want to talk about real quick before we jump on to our guests.
Okay, yeah. So, all y'all, hey, my name is Divine Marie. I am a writer, poet, healer, mother, business owner. I am the business owner of the Black Lands Gallery. Follow us on Instagram, handcrafted jewelry. We recently just started a creative group called One Umbrella with myself, Circumstantial Saint, and a couple other artists. Follow us on Instagram, see some of our performances, some of our work. Yeah, that's pretty much me. I mean, I'm a jack of many trades. There's a lot of things I do, but I don't want to keep on talking about myself. Let's get
But that's
into
part of why you're such an inspiration. Like, I see so much of myself in you, and people will say to people that can, jack of all trades, like, well, you're not good at one thing. What does that have to do with diversifying yourself and and following every single dream or path that you have? There's nothing wrong with that. And so, like, you inspire me to be my authentic best self and where I am with myself and the endeavors that I'm taking on, the projects that I'm taking on. Like, one John Tellism that I have is, you could die tomorrow. And so you for me, I want to do as many things as I can within reason before I leave this earth, and fulfilling every dream that I possibly could. And yes, thank you for continuing that thought. Maybe you're good at many things, and maybe what someone else is perceiving that you're not good at, they're not seeing the other side of it. Maybe they don't know what all it takes for you to put into what you do, because a lot of times when people see you doing something, they think it just comes naturally or just easy. It's just easy. There's a lot of work that comes into preparing for something or doing something, and there's a lot of energy that goes into that. So what one may think is like just really easy for someone may be a lot more behind the scenes.
Yes, I am also a Reiki healer, and I am a vegan chef. Follow my cooking page on Instagram, Divine's Kitchen. I make vegan desserts, vegan meals. Yes.
And it's good, y'all.
Yes, it's good. They can vouch for me. I've cooked for them plenty of times. Hey, Laddie. Maria just joined. Hey, Laddie.
Hey. I love healthy food. I do, but I gotta have my meat. But like, I be tearing your food up, not gonna lie. So definitely go support all the endeavors that we have, y'all. It's important to have community, and on healing journeys, touch on that real quick. Having community and unity and looking around and seeing the people on their healing journeys can reaffirm you and to continue on yours.
Absolutely.
So we can go ahead and go into the next guest, because we don't want to take up the time. This is also a part of like us sharing with people and maybe helping to encourage y'all to share your stuff and dive deep into what your poetry is about. So let's start with the woman and the elder, the real Mima. Did you know? Oh, it's your thing. So are you able to send her the request?
Yeah, I'm gonna send the real Mima a request to join. All right, I just sent it. So let me give y'all a little backstory about the real Mima. So I hosted my first open mic night in February. I hosted my first open mic night in February, and she messaged me. I guess she's seen the flyer somewhere on Facebook, and she messaged me, and I was like, yes, come. And ever since then, she has been a blessing to me and my family. And yes, she's like the grandma that, the community grandma.
For real.
Well, let me just say that until that event, your event, I had never read my poetry out loud. Like, I've been writing for decades, but never did that. And when I was there that night, the environment was so welcoming and warm that I'm like, okay, I'm going to try this. And like, ever since, like, it opened up a whole new chapter for this old woman's life. Like, and plus hearing the word, first of all, being accepted by all these young people, you know, like that was awesome. And then hearing everybody else's words, like every time I'm at one of the spoken word events, I just leave feeling invigorated, like
No, they're so
refreshed.
awesome.
It's so cool.
Yes, agreed.
I love
Agreed.
them.
So I'm going to read a poem I wrote. It's not exactly along the lines of healing, but
That's okay. Yeah,
because
that's okay.
it could be if people listen. Let's put it that way.
We're always going to find a way to connect it back to healing, so don't worry about
Right.
that.
It could be healing if people listen, okay? So
Right.
it's called To Those Who Say White Privilege Does Not Exist. First, let me explain that white privilege does not mean, it does not mean that white people can't be poor, can't struggle, can't experience brutality and injustice. What it does mean, I can describe through my own personal experience. I can remember instigating fights in school and not being the one suspended. I can remember shoplifting as a kid and having no consequence from the store owner or police. I can remember walking to a corner store to buy candy while wearing my hoodie and not being killed by vigilante. I can leave Walmart and not have my receipt checked. I can go into a retail store and no clerk follows me around thinking I will steal. I can get in an elevator and no one clutches their purse. I can dine in a fancy restaurant and no one questions my attire or seats me in the back. I can remember running out of gas along the highway, walking up the exit ramp, and not being chased by cops assuming I was a criminal. I can remember getting pulled over by the police while driving and just getting a warning and not being beaten or killed. I remember having coworkers dislike me intensely and not being chased, caught, tortured, and murdered like Rasheem Carter was. I can float through life without daily fear and not have to live looking over my shoulder or deciding which places are safe. Do you understand now what white privilege is? More than that, do you see that racism is still rampant in this country? I hope that you do, because the time has come for things to change, for an upheaval to occur, for systems to be torn down and rebuilt, for reparations to be made. And if you are open and prepared to learn the truth, prepared to look at the shame and feel some pain, if you are prepared to destroy the white privilege pedestal, then you will feel deserved repercussions, because the time is now to wake up to reality, to fight for justice and equity, and make the world a better place for people of all races.
Yes. I love that.
Let me gather my thoughts. Let me gather my thoughts real quick. Do you want to go first, Deja? Divine?
I just want to say you always come through with the truth, and that's what I love about your poetry. That you definitely speak your truth. You speak from your experiences, and I love that.
Well, I found that when I wrote just in general, it didn't feel as real. So like in this poem, everything I said really happened to me.
Right.
So I can vouch for everything. I can feel everything.
Yes.
And it's not just grabbing facts, it's not just grabbing facts out of, what I know other people have been through. Those things are valid too. But when I write about my own experience, I feel that I can convey it in a stronger way.
Yeah, that's what I love about writing, that some poems I feel like when I'm really, I really experienced this, you can feel it so much deeper.
Yeah.
See, I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. I really admire, I really value the different perspectives that different poets give.
Right.
And going back and forth between different perspectives. And there are people that just stick on one style of things, and that's definitively them. Like, I love the differences and all that. One thing I love about your poetry, Mima, is you do not, like, we're very similar in this, because yes, I talk about a lot of healing. I talk about a lot of shadow work. I do a lot of, every single one of my poems has affirmations in it, whether you know it or not, it's built in. So I started out doing affirmations a lot, but it didn't need to be so apparent, because the affirmations are going to be there. You go through turmoil, you go through trauma. We all deal with this system. And so I can talk about that deeper, and the affirmations will be there. And during that, you're healing as well, or you're making sense of where you currently are.
Right.
So what I heard was you making sense of your privilege, understanding it, looking at the other side, seeing what we deal with, me and Deja, and looking at you and saying, well, how come I don't get that?
Right.
Okay, well, this is the difference, and kind of like saying it to yourself, but if another white person is hearing that, they can put themselves in your shoes too. And I think we had talked about that the one day, like, if I'm trying to educate a white person on racism, it may not go through very well. They may not hear me exactly because I'm not speaking their language necessarily.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, you know, like, white people talk to white people, and, you know, if another white person is talking to another white person about racism, they might be more inclined to listen to them.
Yeah.
Well,
and
I
that's
really
what I
value
tried
someone like
to
you.
do, you know, with this poem is like, because I've had this conversation with other white people. Like, that's who I need to educate. Like, I don't need to tell Black people what white privilege is. You know what I mean? Y'all know what that is. In fact, there's so many things. Like, I was talking to someone the other day, and it's like, you know, just history in general, or experiences in general. If we as white people would just start listening, we'd all be a whole lot smarter, you know?
Yeah.
But like, in this poem, these are like some of the examples that I've tried to convey to white people who think that white privilege means that they don't have any struggle, or that they're never poor. I'm like, that's not what it is. It's about it's about these things. It's about being able to go through life and not having this shit happen to you all the time, every fucking day.
Exactly.
So, you know, that's my hope with a lot of my poetry, is that, like, this is aimed toward white people, you know, because I want them to hear what it is, and I want them to start to open their eyes and see that it's okay to know that not just your ancestors did things wrong, but you did things wrong. You know, I was talking to Jontel the other day, and like, I've been like an activist for decades, but this past year I made a concerted effort to peel back the layers on my own family, my family history. Ooh, not always pretty, you know, but by doing that, I also felt things deeper. I felt the problems deeper. I felt the need for solutions deeper. And I've gotten some surprising rewards from peeling back those layers too.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's all work that, you know, that needs to be done. And like I was telling Jontel the other day, white racists aren't going to listen to anybody but another white person, period. So I hope that, you know, along the way, like, maybe I've at least, you know, changed a couple people's way of thinking, if not completely, at least maybe started them down the path of reevaluating things and thinking about things.
Which is it a healing path in its own?
Exactly.
Right? When you're assessing something, this poem was speaking to part of your healing path, but you're trying to spark, in essence, of you doing your own shadow work, right? You're trying to spark other people that have the same complexion as you to do their own work as well. And when that happens, that's when we all can, the sooner that more white people do their healing work, the sooner we all can do this healing work together and help combat the issues of racism, systemic racism, white privilege, all these things that are baked into American society,
Oh, yeah.
and you know what I mean? They're synonyms to America as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that we cannot eradicate it. It starts with one conversation at a time, one person doing shadow work at a time, and us all realizing that we all bleed red
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's time for, you know, like it's past due time for white people to get out of their
Right.
comfort zone. Like get out of your comfort zone. Like it's not as scary as you think. Get out of your comfort zone. And the more you do it, the more you'll feel connected to the universe,
Yeah.
which is how I feel. And like I said, this past year, I got even more out of my comfort zone because I decided that I was going to make it more personal and just find out the ugly truth about my own family history. It's important.
And that's a whole nother thing that we could talk about sometime too, Deja.
Right.
Because I know I do want to do themed ones sometimes where it's a specific topic, and I think that would be a really great topic to touch on too.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I like the idea of doing some themes.
And not to mention, I like having the open dialogue too. I think that's great, but just switching it up would be really cool too.
Yeah.
Luna, do you have any last thoughts that you want to say and talk about real quick?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
No, just that, you know, I encourage everybody to do the work. Don't give up. And like you were talking about, you know, walking barefoot in the grass and all that, balance. You know, make sure you find that balance in your life because like the day that the Florida Board of Education law came out,
Oh my God.
I was like mentally and physically sick from it all dang day long.
Yeah.
And I just needed
crazy.
I just needed to, like, the next day, I needed to, like, kind of try and get that out of my mind for a day, play in my garden, you know, play in the dirt, you know, and enjoy the warm weather. You have to find that balance because otherwise these worldly things will just drag you down. But if you can find balance, you know, you'll end up, like, I'm probably, like, at this point in my life, I am not always happy, but I'm almost always content. And I wish that for everybody, you know, like I'm content, you know, I'm usually centered. And if I'm not, I can find my way back to being centered and have things in perspective. And I wish that for everybody because it took me a long time to get to where I'm at.
Oh, yeah. It definitely takes time.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Carol, for sharing.
Let me share.
Of course. It's anytime.
Yes. You know you're always welcome back.
Yes. So who do we have up next?
It's up to you to choose who you want to pick. We got Trip Young and we got the Grill Giant.
How do
All right, let's do Trip Young.
Yeah, she Deja, you should be able to remove her and then bring another guest on.
Maybe disappear.
Let's see, how do I do that?
Do I need to do it?
Okay, I just invited Trip Young to come on.
Should I exit myself out and come back on?
Yeah, you can exit out and then just join watch the live.
Oh shoot!
All right,
that's
cool.
Messy.
Okay.
There we go. What's going on, fam?
Well, you know, we're talking about healing journeys. I'm on a healing journey myself. I'm recovering from an injury to my shoulder. You know, doing something stupid, and you know, gotta get back to it. Gotta take care of myself, and
yeah.
And so this poem was written surrounding like that transitional where I was like, okay, I'm injured too. I'm healing from the injury. But first I wanted to thank y'all, Jontel, Daisha, and Mima, everybody else who's here. Thanks so much. You know, it's been an honor working with Jontel, getting some features, getting some stuff produced.
Thank you.
And you know, it's gotta support local artists and, and buy some albums and attend some events and get some vegan meals ordered. You know,
Yes.
eat a cookie for justice. Right?
Let's go. Yes.
Thank you so
All right.
Now we're
much
talking.
for hopping on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
So the full thing, it's called Green Africa Radio. It's the full thing's like 8 minutes long, so I'm going to give a little bit of an abridged version to nobody else is taking up that much time.
I mean, no, you could do the full 8 minutes. That's fine. My shit was like what, 7 minutes?
Damn. All right. Well, here we go then. Green Africa Radio is the title of the night. I suppose the artifice of your lips and mine will suffice if I can't have you tonight. I can take up a whole room and do my work at a window. There's something coquettish about my left hip because it's turned out. I got a rainbow lightning headed through my spine. It was injured. Oh no, soon it will be well. What does this new world cost us? Always the old. I'm a new world animal, synthetic material. I'm coming to get you. Call me nanobacteria. Ba-da-dum. Hey, ba-da-dum. Hey, ba-da-dum. Hey, hey, hey. My teacher wasn't very good at geometry, but he taught me, and now I'm better than him, and I know the world by it. I seek a relationship so strong that its flower will go on even if we sour, for this is the meaning of power and all its every trapping. There's a root to my rhythm, tuberosity's music. There's something green in my movements. I see something green when you view them. Is it too much for you, baby? I swear it's nothing to use it. I put my foot right behind it. I feel the incredible music. Ba-da-dum, hey, ba-da-dum, hey, ba-da-dum, hey, hey. If I feel the need to protect myself, I'll have an out. Go on without me, hesitantly, presently. You'll witness an abundancy, this divergency. I'm talking observancy, nothing but servancy. This apathetical ascendancy, its magnificency. I will witness thee, and we will forever be. Ba-da-dum, hey, ba-da-dum, hey, ba-da-dum, hey, hey, hey. Thank you very much, Amaya. Yum Batik Sakum. Yeah, it's man-made from lava. This side obsidian glass. I want to put you above me. Burn all your worries to ash. I'm a railroad tie in hurricane country. I got metal above me. I got gravel below me. I've been built to stay, but I still wash away, and the whole will say, ba-da-dum, hey, ba-da-dum, hey, ba-da-dum, hey, hey. Your little book of atrocities is anything but standard. At least that's what the man heard as the wind whipped every one of her words. Choked on him, Tutankhamun, his brains out his own snout, and he's devout, so he prays. Oh my God, does he pray? Ba-da-dum, hey, ba-da-dum, hey, ba-da-dum, hey, hey. My days are longer. I am a Brahmin god, and can you imagine my arrogance if I knew that to be true of me, but not of you, with whatever equality you share with the divine? It all lies in exposure. I'm over the hill on a trill. It's a thrill and a hell of a thing. I'm a hot-blooded mammal doing mammoth damage with the plasma god. High energy rhymes flows gamma with the grammar. Ba-da-dum, hey, ba-da-dum, hey, ba-da-dum, hey, hey, hey. I won't do one more. Ba-da-dum, hey, ba-da-dum, hey, ba-da-dum, hey, hey. Thanks very much.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
Deja, I'll let you go first.
So do you want to explain to us what does that poem mean?
Yeah, so we're always stepping through moments in time, and you know it's important to step beyond that. But sometimes those moments can be not necessarily captured, but described. You know, and this was a night I was you know, it was late night. I had hurt my shoulder. It was in a sling. You know, I couldn't really do a whole lot. And I was listening to a friend who was really into music sent me a playlist, and it had this song Green Africa by Mulatto, and then I always mess up his last name, but it's like Ashtaka or something like that. Okay. And he's this incredible horn player, and there's this amazing arrangement called Green Africa, and it's an incredible song. Go check it out, you know. And then on the Spotify Green Africa Radio, it just kept hitting incredible tracks by incredible artists and groups. And I was really feeling it. And, you know, it wasn't walking, it wasn't hiking, I wasn't running, I wasn't biking, but I was, I got up and danced. And, you know, it was, sure, my arm was in a, I couldn't really put my hands up, but I put a hand up and I was dancing and felt like I was regaining some capacity. And then, you know, there was so I was writing it while I was dancing. I was like, I got to put it down. And hey, because I just kept coming back to that when, you know, I ran out of words. It was like, that's great. I'm going to get up and dance. And then if something composes, if something shows up in my head, I'm going to sit back down. I'll write it down.
Right.
Let's get up and dance again, you know? So it was a really enjoyable process. And that was, you know, gratefully pretty swiftly on the heels of the injury. And I'm still recovering from that currently, so it's appropriate to my situation. But you know, so I really want to thank y'all for like holding a healing space, because it's important mentally, physically, emotionally, right?
I love
it's extremely
that.
important.
I love how you did the little
really,
the tune with it. I like that.
Yes. I think that really, that for me, that was my favorite part, because it's a point of grounding. You know, like it really is. So like you have these, and I love your poetry because you have these fast, hard-hitting lines that are so big on like multi-syllabled, really, like, and you remind me of myself in that sense, but you do it in such a different way. You have a different cadence with the way that you do it, but you always throw these offset rhythms within it. You just inject it in, and it's not like it's just a natural, gradual thing. It's like, there's a cliff, boom, here's a rhythm. And it makes sense, though. If you listen and if you look at the overall structure, it always makes sense. And so, like, that coming back to that grounding moment during moments of chaos and not be able to admit necessarily, maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but this is my interpretation. Like, you could be lost in the sauce, or you could be in some turmoil, or you can just be literally not understanding anything, but that moment of that like really, it takes you back home. It's a sense of familiarity because you are repetitive with it, and it also sticks out enough for it to call your attention, and it calls everyone else's attention that would go to listen to it, to go back and listen to those moments of chaos. Do you know what I mean? Because you got to have those intermittent moments of clarity. Again, as we talked about healing journeys, there's different healing journeys. You're not going to have just one healing journey on your life and then you're done. It's a perpetual cycle of different moments. And again, like we said, you can, I think he froze. You can have the same situation happen with multiple people and get served the same situation multiple times, you know? Dang, did we lose him?
Yo, it looks like he's just...
He's just circling. He's just circling. I can't thank Trip Young enough. Like, and a little plug so real quick. He's on my new song called Rise Against the System. It's a single out right now. Go check out Trip Young. And he also has a song called Atrocities that I'm featured on. But his poetry, I've went to open mics with him. I've heard some of his other poetry, and he's deep. He's deep, and he gives you you have to listen. Right. Like you have to.
I definitely gotta go check him out now.
For sure. For sure. Oh, his phone died.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing, and I'm definitely gonna go and check out some of your other work because that was dope. I loved it.
And who we got next? We got the Griot Giant.
Leave. You have the Griot Giant. Let me add him. All right, I sent him the invite.
My brother from another mother. Let's go. Yeah, I'm excited. Like all of these guests today, I'm excited about. Yo, what's going on, brother?
What's up, brothers? What's up, Divine Marie? It's nice to see you again. I am on my way to go pick up Sir Dominic Jordan for our poetry night here in Lancaster.
Okay.
Shout out to Concrete Bros.
I am, for the people who don't know me, I go by Lee Moore, aka the Griot Giant. I am 6'8", but I am the biggest teddy bear you're probably With being tall though, people think it's where it's at. And like when Circumstantial told me about this, I was debating on what poem to spit, and I feel as though my 5-5 poem will probably be the best poem to spit.
Okay.
Right now, if y'all would.
Let's hear it.
5-5, when I was 8 years old, being grown but not up. A society that treats you like an adult, but a child at home leaves you with really nowhere to go. So, show of hands. How many of y'all still wish to be tall? Alert. A freak. Let me show you the perspective of a giant who doesn't like standing on his 2 feet. When door frames are your worst enemy, you better be ducking concussions from dime a dozen. Can't stretch because my hands go through the ceiling, fearing the fan that's rotating like my head that's spinning if I stand too quickly. Y'all still with me?
I'm here.
Bones Morse coding. Pop locking saying stop moving. Feet dangling off of every bed, angling like you're fishing. Sleeping in the fetal position, only way you're fitting. Seeing Haley's Comet, more common than finding fabric that doesn't affect your breathing. Man, God must have been a rich boy for throwing some D's on my feet. They sticking out like they spinning. My body going in the opposite direction every time sports is mentioned, so I don't get asked the same 21 questions. I 50 Cent, if you don't give me your 2 cents explaining how you think I'm big for nothing, but the opinions kept flying. Young me couldn't handle it, started dishing out 4-piece McNuggets like I was loving it, but I hated it. See, I seen enough violence in my life. I didn't wish to be the cause of it, but they saw the big kid and was like, street cred. But they were writing checks they couldn't cash, and I got labeled as dangerous for what? Defending myself? Man. Everyone saw Goliath when I was really a David, but that didn't prevent the affidavits coming in. See, I was a victim of people's assumptions, but that didn't prevent me from helping. Even though when they saw the giant coming, they think I was fee-fi for fun. That's why Shaq is relatable. John Coffey was my spirit animal, because even though they were fictional, they understood what I was going through. Now do you? Be grateful for the gifts that made you your own individual. Don't be blindly wishing. That's how the genies be tricking you. And that's poem.
Yes.
Woo!
I love that.
For the people
one part towards the end, like be grateful for the things that made you individual.
Yes.
Is that what you said?
For the things that make you your own individual.
Yes.
You
Amen.
had to turn up, bro. That really is.
It does.
First of all, I want to. Yeah, the Trips at bars. He says 6'3", 220 right here. We got struggles too. I don't think because so many people are around the same height, and there's so, like I'm 5'8", 5'9". I'm an average height for a man. You know what I mean? So I don't think about short or tall that much.
Right.
I think about me.
Right.
You know, so you literally just gave us a perspective. You literally just inserted us into what it's like to be you, and that was powerful. Sorry, I just figured that out.
The real Mima said, perspective I never knew before. Thanks. Yes, definitely. Because I feel like a lot of times people, well, I don't know, maybe a lot of men want to be taller. And, you know, there's a short man complex, and men feel a type of way when they're short and stuff, and they wish they were taller. But yeah, hearing your perspective of what it's like to be tall, you know, super tall, is not something that many of us would expect. So thank you for sharing your perspective. And it was definitely eye-opening, and I appreciate it.
For real.
I get another chance to spit to y'all again another point when I'm not driving.
Yeah.
That poem is definitely one I like to do when I actually have like a room or somewhere I can move, so I can like really show my size. Yeah. But with being tall, like you said, like it is like people always wish they were taller. Like the amount of men and females that I have come across who wish they were taller, and I constantly tell them like you don't want to wish that at all. Like I say in the poem, I was 5'5" by the age of 8, so I was almost 8 by the time before I was even in high school.
Right.
way before, while I was still in middle school, and getting treated like I'm a 15, 16-year-old when I was 8 years old is like, you know. And not only that, like, clothes is super hard to
Oh yeah,
find.
I'm sure.
Never find. People don't think about the repercussions when it comes to being tall. Like, I had to worry about what car I go in so I don't bang my knees, or what house I go in so I don't hit my head on the door.
Right, constantly.
Or when I stretch, like the day I wrote this poem, or actually the night I wrote this poem, I spit it out the rose, and I went to my dad's house and I was stretching, and I literally hit my elbow on the ceiling fan, and I literally was just laughing to myself. So I was like, "This is why I put it in the poem."
Exactly.
Only comments. Trip said I'd be a much better dancer if I was smaller.
Yo, I feel that, bro. But all we got is a shimmy shake, bro. All we got. Big man, bro. 2-step and good little slide. We're chilling. But like, it is what it is. Like, I just most of my poetry goes into changing people's perspectives. Like, one of my quotes I go by daily is, "It could always be worse, but it could always be better too."
Exactly.
But most of my poetry is based on trying to unite people, because I've been destroyed so many times by so many different versions of my family. Like, I am super multiracial, so I have a lot of people in my family. I have a lot of black people in my family. I have a lot of Puerto Ricans in my family. And having and knowing the knowledge in my family history, like, no one has clean hands, you know. It's just, I'm just tired of sitting at Thanksgiving and not being all among my family. You know what I mean? And like, I definitely consider you can make your family. So, like, your friends could become your family and everything. But like, family functions be definitely hitting different when your actual family there.
What I'm hearing is like what we're hearing is like getting in depth of your healing journey too, and that's really powerful.
You just gotta take it one step at a time, man. Only takes one step. Only takes one step.
One step,
one day, one moment at a time.
Yeah. But I'm gonna hit up Sir Dominic Jordan so we can get on to this poetry thing out the rose, y'all. I definitely hope I get an opportunity to speak with y'all again.
Of course.
Thank you so much for hopping on. We appreciate it.
Thank you. I definitely hope I get to spit to you in person next time.
Yes, for sure.
You definitely have to make the trip out to Harrisburg. Right?
Do it.
Harrisburg. Yeah, I need to. And I also need to make the trip out to Philly. I heard Saint told me it's popping out there too.
Yes.
Poetry out there. Yes.
Yeah. Get ready. Y'all. Hear the rumbling in the ground. It's not an earthquake. It's just me coming. It's all good.
Thank you so much. Peace to you.
Be good, man. Appreciate you. Oh, I can't even thank y'all enough. Like, this was like food for the soul, and I really hope that, like, healing, it means different things for different people at different points in times of lives, you know. But what I interpret from all of this, from Eric Lee, from Trip Young, and from Meemaw, is different ages, different types of people at different points in their lives, but we all find a common ground and connect on the level of healing, right?
Right, exactly.
And so I personally think, like, all right, bro, thank you so much.
Thank you. Hope to see you soon.
Yes. Love you too, yo. I really love this, and I'm really happy that we're doing this, and I can't wait to do more, because it's really cool to hear why people write what they write, what's inspired it, and relating it back to some kind of core, right? Exactly, so, like, even if we do a theme, I think when we don't do a theme, we can relate it back to like what you and me represent and why we do what we do. So it doesn't necessarily have to be about healing. It could be shadow work. It could be nature versus, food. Like, me and you have a lot of stuff in common.
Right.
So we can definitely bounce off of that. And I just feel like there's so much potential for sharing and healing space with this.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited.
Yes, thank you for everyone that watched us live and everyone that, all of our performers that join. We are going to be doing this, bi-weekly?
Yes, so every other Wednesday.
Every other Wednesday, 6 p.m., Divine Circumstances. So we hope to see y'all. And, we hope y'all sign up for the poetry. We're super excited. And thank you all again. I think next time we should do a theme.
Yes, I'm totally down for that, fam. Yes.
Yeah, let's come up with
So we'll let y'all know what that theme's gonna be.
Well, stay tuned and look out for the flyer and for the theme, and we'll see you in 2 weeks from now. So that will be August 9th. August 9th, mark your calendars. Divine Circumstances, 6 p.m. Instagram Live.
Good.
All right, y'all. Have a good
Circumstantial. Divine Marie. Breathe.